Hey, Raider Nation. Let's cut straight to the chase today because there's a lot to unpack about what's happening with the Las Vegas Raiders this season, and more specifically, what's going on with Chip Kelly as our offensive coordinator. Now, I know a lot of you are frustrated, and trust me, so am I. There's a sense that this offense just isn't performing anywhere near the level we expected. And when you start breaking it down, it becomes clear that the problems go deeper than just a quarterback missing throws or an offensive line having a rough patch. It all starts with the man calling the plays. Chip Kelly is, without a doubt, one of the highest-paid coordinators in the NFL. He's bringing in millions more than he ever made at the college level, and with that comes an expectation that he will elevate this offense, make the adjustments necessary, and put the team in positions to succeed week after week. But right now, it feels like the ego is in the driver's seat. When a focus is more on proving a point or showing authority than on solving real problems, the team suffers, and that's exactly what we're seeing with the Raiders. The offense is making mistakes that shouldn't be happening at this level, and a lot of it comes down to decision-making and communication in that locker room. Take some of the smaller details, for example, like adjustments to stances or techniques that don't actually need fixing. Players have a rhythm. They have mechanics that work for them, and sometimes a coach's insistence on fixing things that aren't broken can create confusion or hesitation. That hesitation can be costly in the NFL, where split-second decisions define games. And it's not just minor mechanics. It's the bigger picture, too. Comments and behaviors that signal condescension or an unwillingness to listen to the players can erode trust. Professional athletes aren't children. They're skilled, intelligent competitors who deserve explanations when they ask questions. When a coach responds with "because I said so," instead of engaging and adjusting, it damages communication and it damages performance. That dynamic is part of what's unfolding in the Raiders' offense right now, and it's clear that ego has played a major role in limiting their effectiveness. Then there's the scheme itself. Kelly's offensive system, at least the way it's being implemented in Las Vegas, feels outdated and predictable. What worked at Ohio State and in his early NFL years doesn't necessarily translate perfectly to this roster or this league in 2025. When you watch the tape, you see tendencies and patterns that make it easy for defenses to anticipate plays. There's a lack of motion, a lack of creativity in second and long situations, and repeated calls that become obvious to anyone paying attention. When you can predict what a team is going to do based on film or live observation, that's not a sign of a dynamic, adaptable offense. That's a problem. And it's not just anecdotal. The numbers back it up. The Raiders are running inside guard far more than any other team in the league, while outside zone plays barely see the light of day. This imbalance makes the play calling one-dimensional, and when that happens, it puts more pressure on the quarterback and limits the potential of skill players. Speaking of the quarterback, Geno Smith's struggles cannot be ignored. He's missing open receivers, holding onto the ball too long, and showing signs of uncertainty in the pocket. But let's be honest, this regression isn't all on Geno. When a quarterback goes from performing at a top-tier level to being visibly lost in the system, the offensive coordinator has to shoulder some of that responsibility. Kelly is supposed to adapt the scheme to the strengths of his quarterback and make in-game adjustments to counter defensive pressure. That hasn't happened consistently this season. The result is a combination of missed opportunities, wasted talent, and mounting frustration across the roster. The talent is there, though. The Raiders have skill players who can make plays, receivers who can create separation, and running backs capable of breaking off big gains. Yet the offense continues to underperform. When a team has the pieces to succeed, but fails to execute at a high level, the focus naturally shifts to coaching. The issue isn't that the players are incapable. It's that the system isn't being applied effectively. And that's where Chip Kelly has to answer some tough questions. His inability or unwillingness to adjust the scheme, to listen to the input of his players, and to manage the offense dynamically has contributed directly to what we're seeing on the field. One of the most frustrating things for fans is seeing an offense start strong in the first drive or two of a game, then stall as the game progresses. It's not because the players can't compete. It's because the defensive coordinators are making adjustments and Kelly isn't countering effectively. This predictability is crippling. Every NFL team at this level analyzes tendencies, and if your offense is predictable, it puts the whole team at a disadvantage. The quarterback gets squeezed, the running game gets stopped, and scoring opportunities vanish. And when this continues over multiple games, the frustration builds, not just for fans, but for the team itself. Even looking at advanced metrics, the story is the same. The Raiders rank low in pre-snap motion and screen plays, two critical areas for creating flexibility and masking tendencies. They run the ball inside guard at an unusually high rate, limiting explosive opportunities, while outside runs that could open up space for the quarterback and receivers are rarely called. These patterns make it easier for defenses to shut down the offense and harder for the Raiders to sustain drives. And the result is painfully clear in the stats. Points per game, red zone efficiency, third down conversions. They're all lagging behind expectations. And then there's the broader pattern of regression. Geno Smith, who came into the season as a top 16 quarterback with real upside, is now struggling in ways that were largely unexpected. Touchdowns are down, interceptions are up, and efficiency metrics are falling. When a quarterback declines so sharply without a change in surrounding talent, the coaching and scheme have to be considered a major factor. This is where the frustration with Chip Kelly compounds, because the talent on offense is not the issue. It's the deployment of that talent, the lack of adjustment, and the outdated tendencies that are holding the team back. In short, the Raiders have all the pieces to compete at a high level offensively, but right now the offense is underperforming at historic lows for the first 5 games of the season. When you look at the stats compared to previous years, this is worse than offenses under other coordinators who also struggled in the past. That points directly to the man calling the plays. Chip Kelly was brought in with a big contract and big expectations, and right now, the results just aren't there. Fans, players, and analysts are all seeing it, and the frustration is understandable. Now, digging even deeper, let's talk about what this means for the players on the field, because they're the ones bearing the brunt of this stagnation. Geno Smith, for instance, came into the season with a reputation for being a smart, capable quarterback, one who can make tight window throws and improvise when protection breaks down. But the way this offense has been run has put him in situations where success feels almost impossible. The pocket often collapses because the play calling doesn't diversify enough to keep defensive fronts honest. When the line is overpowered and the quarterback is forced to rush decisions, mistakes pile up and confidence takes a hit. And let's be clear, Smith isn't the only one struggling. The receivers, running backs, and even tight ends aren't seeing the kind of spacing and timing that they need to thrive. This isn't a lack of talent. It's a lack of scheme and proper adjustment from the top. Take the running game as another example. Josh Jennings is one of the most explosive backs in the league when given the right opportunities. He can hit the hole, make defenders miss in the open field, and gain critical yards that shift momentum. But if the offense keeps calling the same inside guard runs repeatedly, defenses catch on immediately. You'll see linebackers stacking the box and forcing minimal gains, while outside zone runs and counters that could create big plays barely happen. This predictability doesn't just limit Jennings, it limits the entire offense. When a team's running game becomes one-dimensional, it becomes easier for defenses to lock down the passing game. And suddenly the quarterback is left holding the ball, forced into uncomfortable situations where even a minor misread can result in a turnover. Speaking of turnovers, this is another area where the lack of adaptation has had measurable consequences. Smith's interceptions have skyrocketed compared to previous seasons, and a lot of that can be traced back to predictable schemes and poor situational adjustments. When defenders can anticipate routes, timing, and tendencies, the quarterback is put in positions where making a mistake is almost unavoidable. And turnovers aren't just numbers. They kill drives, sap momentum, and demoralize a team. One poorly timed interception can turn a promising series into a defensive touchdown for the opposition, shifting the entire energy of a game. That's why in-game adjustment is so critical, and why Kelly's inability to implement them consistently has had such a visible effect. The offensive line is another critical piece of the puzzle. Last season, They showed flashes of cohesion and discipline that allowed the offense to operate at a higher level. This season, though, there's been regression. Part of that is inevitable with injuries and roster changes, but part of it comes down to scheme. The line isn't being set up for success when they're asked to execute repetitive, predictable plays without variation. When a system doesn't account for defensive tendencies or failings in real time, even the most talented linemen struggle. Pass protection breaks down, running lanes close prematurely, and the quarterback faces pressure that the play design should have prevented. The result is frustration all around. Skilled players can't get open, linemen look ineffective, and the quarterback loses confidence. Then there's the timing and rhythm of the offense. In the first drive of most games, everything looks competent. The team moves the ball, converts short yardage, and even manages to score. But as the game progresses, that rhythm disappears. Defenses adapt, and without an offensive coordinator who can adjust accordingly, the Raiders stall. The problem is not that the players aren't trying. It's that the plays and strategies aren't evolving fast enough to stay ahead. This creates a sense of stagnation where fans and players alike feel like the offense is predictable, mechanical, and incapable of surprise. And in a league where adaptability is everything, that's a serious problem. Another key factor is red zone efficiency. You can have yards and drives, but if you can't score touchdowns inside the 20-yard line, it doesn't matter. The Raiders have struggled in the red zone, and the patterns of play calling have a lot to do with it. Predictable runs, predictable drops, and a lack of creative passing concepts mean defenses can crowd the line of scrimmage and force minimal gains. Scoring opportunities slip away, points get left on the field, and games that could be competitive become much harder to win. This is where the role of the offensive coordinator is most critical. Adjustments need to be made, creativity has to be applied, and the offense has to be put in a position to succeed. When that doesn't happen, talent alone can't carry the team. And let's not forget the psychological effect on a locker room. Players notice when their coaches aren't adapting or listening. Confidence wanes, frustration grows, and morale suffers. When the quarterback senses that the system isn't built to support him, or that adjustments aren't being made to exploit defensive weaknesses, it has a ripple effect across the offense. Running backs hesitate. Receivers may alter routes slightly out of uncertainty, and the overall cohesiveness of a unit deteriorates. The most talented roster in the world can only go so far if the leadership on the sideline isn't maximizing their potential. The statistics paint a stark picture. Scoring is down, turnovers are up, third down conversions lag behind league averages, and red zone efficiency is near the bottom. This isn't theory. It's measurable evidence that the offense is underperforming. And while it's easy to point fingers at the quarterback or individual players, the truth is that these issues reflect systemic problems tied directly to the offensive coordinator. Chip Kelly's reputation and past success can't shield him from accountability, especially when the team's talent is evident but results are not. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what is quickly becoming the NFL's most talked about offseason move, Courtland Sutton has reportedly left the Denver Broncos and signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, sending shockwaves through both fan bases. Sources close to the situation suggest that the star wide receiver, known for his size, hands, and ability to dominate downfield, was seeking a fresh start and a chance to reinvent himself outside of Denver's offense. While nothing is officially confirmed, whispers around the league indicate that Sutton's decision may hinge on the Raiders' ambitious offensive plans and the promise of playing alongside a dynamic quarterback who can fully utilize his skill set. Broncos fans are reportedly stunned by the sudden development, with social media erupting in a mixture of disbelief and speculation about the team's future receiving core. Sutton, who has been a reliable target in Denver for years, had previously been seen as a cornerstone of the franchise's offensive strategy. However, according to insiders, friction over contract negotiations and a desire for a bigger role may have fueled the unexpected exit. Meanwhile, Raiders supporters are already buzzing with anticipation, imagining the big-bodied receiver making highlight reels in the silver and black. Analysts speculate that Sutton could be the missing piece in a passing game that has struggled to find consistency in recent seasons. The move, if finalized, could have ripple effects across the AFC West, potentially reshaping the division's competitive landscape. Some insiders suggest that Sutton's presence might even influence game plans, draft priorities, and future free agent pursuits for both teams. For Sutton himself, this could be a defining moment, a chance to step out of the shadows and solidify his place among the league's elite receivers. While both franchises remain tight-lipped, the excitement and curiosity surrounding this rumor are undeniable, leaving fans on edge as they await official confirmation. One thing is clear. If this move comes to fruition, Sutton's switch to the Raiders could be one of the most intriguing storylines of the NFL offseason. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.